true Felionian welcome.
Yes, a true Felionian welcome to you indeed. It is I, Gomez, from the Land Up channel, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Janky.
Hello.
Indeed. So, I wonder what the hell we're going to talk about today, because let's face it, nothing has really changed in the sphere of Runeterra over this last little bit, has it really?
Yeah, no, I can't imagine what we would possibly be talking about.
Exactly. Exactly. But new cards has been insane, I love it!
Oh, they're so good! I am brimming with opinions. I have so many things to say.
I can't wait to hear them because it is like when you just like there's certain sets that cut. So Targon, it was still amazing when it came out, but this has just taken things to another level. Like,
Oh yeah, I have not been this excited about releases. So when I first saw Swain slam his fist onto the map, I was like, yeah, I'm ready for this set, and I haven't had that feeling since until this set. Every single trailer has been so good.
I mean, it honestly has been. The one thing that you saying that now, it is blatantly clear that if there's anything the Runeterra team needs to do, because even you were talking from when they added Swain and he slams his thing down, they need to go back and change some of the first people's animations. Because, I mean, you look at the animations that are coming out now, and then you just see Teemo plodding along on top of them.
I want Teemo to be, like, left in antiquity. I like that he's super buggy sometimes and he just dances around the map. I want them to increase the rate that happens, if anything. Like...
I mean, there's got to be some champions that you're like, oh, come on, they've got to change that. Okay, Callista, come on, they've got to change that. All hers is, like, you get all these crazy 3D animations. Hers is basically just that free thing, a PNG, free things hitting on top of the screen, and that's it.
Her big face, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm loving it. The animations, and as... I think that you said somewhere on Twitter or something, it's going to get to the point now where there's going to be like, it's basically like watching cinematics, like in the middle of game. It's a good job they made that change where they now make it so the animations don't affect the timer.
Yeah. This must be why. But what I said on Twitter, and I'll reiterate it here because this really makes me laugh. If you have 3 Ascended champions in play, which is not unreasonable, or I suppose like you could have 4, right? As many Ascended champions as you can in play, and then you play Ascended Rise, the new 7-cost slow spell that levels up all your level 1 champions.
Yep.
That will immediately level up your Sun Disc, so long as you have a minimum of 3 Ascended champions in play, because you'll get those 10-round advancements. Yep. And you will sit through 7 or... what would that be? 7 or 11 level up animations. You and your opponent whop out the popcorn, sit down for a good time, yeah.
I mean, that is the cinematic masterpiece that is going to be out. I love it. It's so good. It's so good.
For the people who are listening after the fact, we should probably say that we are recording this halfway through spoiler season. The most recent spoiler was Nasus.
Yes, Nasus was like big doggo godman.
Yeah, so anything that comes out from Nasus onwards, we don't know about yet. Although there is spoilers in, 2 hours and 20 minutes?
Yes, roughly about then, yeah.
Yeah, we'll cover those later.
Yeah, so I guess we're going to cover at least all the champions. So I feel like we should go all the way back to the beginning. So, yes. Renekton was the first champion that was revealed to us. In terms of like, obviously there was other cards before then, like the Poro, of which I'm going to definitely be making a stupid Poro deck for pure banter more than anything else.
Yeah, there will be occasions where like that Poro is actually like clutch as hell. Like a one cost scout, like this is obviously like a high roll. A 1-cost scout elusive lifesteal or something is like actually huge. That drains 4 a turn.
Exactly. That's what it's just, and I feel that for some weird reason my plan is going to be I'm going to play this with PNZ and with Victor. And the Poros that you can get off of Poro Cannon and whatnot. I'm going to basically make a Crate Victor deck, but with these Poros being there, and then use Give It All, because obviously that's giving a free random. That's going to be my plan with it. But
I had a very similar idea where I'd be running Jinx because she's a very easy champion to level up and fulfill all of your Shurima if you've leveled a champion this game and stuff.
Very true. But obviously the first thing that we got was the Sun Disc in terms of the landmark, which obviously... I think that everyone knows by now that it's all about like allowing people to get to level 3. I don't
Yeah.
think we have to cover it that much. I think it basically explains itself.
I'm kind of a Timmy monkey player, so like when I see level 3 and just big stats and dumb idiots like huge Nasus, big Renekton, Swola's here, I'm so ready.
I mean, the fact that like it's so let's just get into Renekton. So the fact that his whole thing is it's just for a 4 cost. He's basically able to number one do quite a lot of damage to begin with because like obviously as long as he's challenging or you've made something vulnerable on the other side, which obviously equates to him challenging
Mhm.
something, so you can decide who he's going to be up against. He's getting buff, like he's getting a little bit of a buff health stat, so he's almost like healing himself, depending on obviously what you are attacking with him, and then the second you level him up, just the fact that every single time you attack, he immediately is going up 3-3. So he's basically going to be healing himself through most damage that's happening. And then the level 3 of just the craziness of whether or not he's attacking or blocking, he's doing 2 damage to everything. Like on the opponent.
More fists in Legends of Runeterra. Let's go. Yeah, well, when I saw Renekton slam his fist down on the board and deal 2 damage to that's nice.
It's the fact that it's when I block or attack. It's that it's that craziness.
It's such beautiful mental imagery. Like, imagine, like, Cythria the Bold or whatever going up into this 10-10 Renekton, and Renekton just slams his fist on the Renekton, on the Cythria. Like, you can imagine. It's like, it's visually satisfying in your mind.
It's just one of those things where it's like, you see him leveled up to his ascended form, and it's just like, do I attack? If I attack, they block with Renekton, and everyone's going to be getting 2 damage, including my core. I don't see how I get through this.
Yeah, if you see Renekton's level 3 level up animation and live, it's probably a story to tell. Like, you better be a burn deck with lethal in hand or a like control deck that actually has removal ready.
Yeah, because otherwise you're kind of done. Let's face it.
Yeah. It's not as if, like, when he levels up to his level 3, he gains Spell Shield. That would be, like, really unfair. They'd never do that.
Exactly. Who would do such thing? But admittedly, at least like Nasus doesn't have the overwhelm feature immediately. Obviously, there's ways of giving him overwhelm, but he doesn't have the overwhelm feature. Whereas like Renekton's got the overwhelm, so I can understand why he needs to be removed from the board immediately. I mean, obviously, when Nasus does go up and does end up giving everyone, is it -3? It's gonna be hard.
He doesn't have overwhelm, but he has fearsome. So your opponent's stuff needs to have 6 power minimum to block him.
I know, but
Like,
let's
fearsome,
face it.
fearsome spell shield, 10-10.
I mean,
It's so good.
It's one of those, it's insane. Like, I mean, but I think that's like basically the design of all these level freezes. Their aim is to end the game for the amount of time and effort you've gone into getting them to level 3. I think they have to end the game, don't they? Upon to make them worthwhile, it has to be a game-winning thing. But it's just Renekton himself. I'm just loving his design and everything. It's really well done and crazy at the same time, while also still being counterable, which is the main thing.
Oh yeah, like, I will say, most of these champions are probably not amazingly high tier. Like Renekton specifically, his level 1 face does relatively little, and his level 2 face is just like good stats for the cost. But I don't know how effective good stats for the cost are going to be.
I mean, all I'm saying is that I'm going to double down on those because my plan with Renekton was to go for a Scargrounds Freljord deck, whereby I'm literally allowing him to take damage to then like buff him up, plus using like troll gifts to keep it so that he keeps regenerating himself, while also using things like the Freljord package of like troll chant and whatnot to basically get him round a number of different challenges and just let that over. That's my plan for Renekton immediately. It's just like I'm going to use him probably with Freljord.
My plan on day 1 is probably to use a combination of promising future and stasis.
Yes.
Snare, whatever it's called, to get an unfair number of champions.
Yes, I mean that is
like, yeah,
that is the dream.
Whatever,
that is such an amazing card.
Oh, the 2 cost? Yeah, no, that's nuts. Like, the 2 costs summon an ally, or like imprison an ally in a statue. That's insane.
Yeah, no, it's what you get. Yeah, it's 2 costs fast speed, and it's just the idea that that is just an immediate get out of jail free for like if like they're being vengeance, if there's a ruination that's about to hit the board, if there's whatever the hell, that is just to quickly try and save them. Obviously, there's like opponents are going to be aware of that, are going to learn to start playing around it or try to start playing around it, but. It's gonna be an interesting one. It's obviously immediately vengeance. Boom, you just go into the hourglass. If they said ruination, boom, go into the hourglass. It's one of those things where it's gonna be insane to counter. But
Garen, get in the hourglass.
Get in. The one thing to note about that is the fact that it does say obliterate an ally and then summon, which it then... I mean, it does say summon an exact copy of... I was going to say, like, if they were anywhere close to their level up animation. So basically, I'm saying, like, if this was Garen and he hadn't struck twice, or if this was, Twisted Fate and he hadn't... I mean, So wait, you're telling me, because it does say an exact copy of the obliterate... So technically, they should actually still be on what they were on, right?
I don't know. Have we had any cards up until this point that summon exact copies of champions? I don't think that's something we've been able to playtest up until this point.
Yes, we have.
What? Who? What?
Yes, we have. Have you not played Splinter Soul?
Who?
Splinter Soul.
The 3-cost shadow. No, I haven't. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'm not.
I can answer that question because literally it happened to me quite recently. Okay. It does actually state on there, make an exact copy, and what happened was that I was up against the old Twisted Fate Aphelios deck, and they had a Boxtopus, and I knew that my what's her face why can't I think of the damn name of it? Callista was about to die, and so I used that on Callista, and so the one that came out that was ephemeral actually had 2, because my Callista was 2 procs away, like she'd already been proc twice and just needed the 3rd kill, and so the second one that got made had the 2 procs on her, so it's like, aha, go on and kill whichever one you want, Boxtopus, I'm still getting the level up!
Holy crap, that's obnoxious.
Yeah, so if the status statue works in the same way, that it does say summon an exact copy of the one, so it should technically allow you. So that is actually a way of saving Twisted Fate when he's about to die, and then put it back out. But he should obviously it's going to require testing upon when it comes out to make sure. But technically, he should, if it's an exact copy, he should be where he was. On cards, but that's quite funny. Let us go into the next champion. Obviously, there was loads of other cards, that really exciting cards as well. But I mean, including actually, sorry, we're going into the Sand Spinner. We're
going off script.
So we're going off script. The Sand Spinner. Number 1, the art is amazing, but number 2, this is like the first unit or spell, that kind of thing, that's worked in terms of it is granting the enemy minus stats, and it's granting the enemy minus stats. That's a continuous -1 for the rest of that game. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, the card quality of this set is really, really high. Like, really high. There are some nuts. There are a lot of non-champion cards I want to touch on, but let's attempt to stay on champions.
Stay on target. Stay on target. So the next champion that got revealed to us was a lovely little man who hails from Dumusia.
For my father, the king. I'm so ready.
The effect, he is a burst speed champion. That is what he is. He is a burst speed champion. And the comedy of the fact that you can go forward in your scout move, he then jumps out, and then you can then go forward again. Like, it's insane.
I force elites every season. Every single season. So when I saw all of these elite synergy cards, I shat the bed. Like, I'm so ready. His animation is sick. He's a really cool character in the lore. His father's the king, don't you know? And...
Well, you mean the card that we got, King Jaron the Third?
King Jarvan the Boat, yeah.
Jarvan, that's what's right.
Yeah, so Jarvan in League of Legends is an extremely old champion, so he doesn't have very many voice lines. He has like 3, and he cycles through them as he's walking. And one of them is, for my father, the king, which when you're playing Jarvan, you will hear like every 2 minutes. Man just loves name dropping that his dad's the king.
I mean, wouldn't you?
I guess, yeah.
I mean, if you were in that situation, my father, the king, you understand?
Yeah, yes, yes.
The only person I think, the only like person we know lore wise, like in terms of not in this universe, in the Warcraft universe, who gave two shits about his father being the king was Arthas, who immediately seceded. Like after he got Frostmourne, immediately
Alphas.
yeah,
Yeah.
immediately proceeded to kill his king and like usurp the throne. So classic.
I'm kind of messed up on my Warcraft lore. My understanding is he turned into the Lich King and now he's dead, right? Because he got replaced by Bovar or
Yeah,
whatever.
It's a really long, convoluted story
And then
it's
Bovar
amazing.
died when Banshee Lady took her. Yeah, good
Yeah.
story. Good story.
Yeah, good times.
If you have a spare entire year to read the lore, I'd suggest it.
But I just love the fact that they actually included like his father, the king. I can imagine so many voice interactions between those two, and I cannot wait. Obviously, they need to tech in. Are you winning, son? But, but other than that, so
Oh
good.
my god. I might be wrong with this one. My League of Legends lore is also a bit scuffed, but I think King Jarvan III is dead canonically, and his crown is currently used as Sion's jaw. Like Sion is this big, like mostly undead guy with like armor strapped into his skin and stuff. And I think Jarvan's crown, Jarvan III anyway, is currently Sion's jaw. I can't remember where I learned that though, so that might not be correct at all.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. They do go quite rich and deep into their lore,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, no, that is Java. Like, it's so much, the fact he's a burst speed champion,
Burst
I think,
speed champion, yeah.
is the devastation that's about him. And the weird thing is, like, one of the comments that I seem to be getting like continuously is, don't you think that Jarvan's bad because he doesn't allow you to work with things like if you wanted to keep the mana back for a concerted strike, like basically trying to say you can't attack forward. Like it's like I don't know, but if you're running him in a deck, you're running him in a deck for the purpose of knowing that he's gonna die. In my opinion, if you're running him, you know what he does, and so that you build the deck around that fact of knowing that okay, he's gonna burst speed out when he jumps out. So yeah, it does mean that I'm not gonna have the ability to reply with concerted strikes or thing, but I'm taking that because the man is immediately jumping out, challenging the strongest enemy, and he's gonna have a barrier on. So I'm taking that on board.
Wow, don't you know that if you play Jarvan, you can't hold up mana? No, you feeble-witted bitch. I'm playing Demacia.
you understand. I care not for mana. It's amazing. So then we got on to the next day of reveals, where obviously we didn't get a champion, but there was his loads of people were expecting to see a certain time wizard man with the
certain
cards.
old man. Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like banana. Yes.
The
old man Zillion.
The one card. So number one, we got the keyword predict, which is actually quite an interesting one. Like you know what? The second I saw it, I thought I was going to be seeing the similar kind of thing to Hearthstone. Do you remember? Like we talked about.
I remember that talk we had.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm a little disappointed, but this keyword also like good. I enjoy this.
It allows you to decide what's going to be on top of the deck, so like you can kind of like stack the odds in your favor, in a manner of speaking, to know that okay, I know for a fact I'm going to be drawing this next, like kind of thing. So you can definitely use it quite nicely, as well as the fact that the most insane free cost came out in this lot, which was the Xenotype researchers, which I honestly think this card I am going to have a lot of fun with. If you don't know what it does, it says, when I'm summoned, grant 3 random allies in your deck +3/+3. And my initial thought was, I'm playing you with Shadow Isles and continuously summoning the crap out of you.
Oh yeah, I mean, okay, that's rational. The first time I read it, my brain just went, L Nux, L Nux, L Nux, L Nux!
That's also rational. I can.
Yeah. Like
get behind that.
Like any competitive player would. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly the reason we should. But honestly, I feel like that free cost is gonna be one you're gonna be seeing around.
Yeah, it has like some nuts high roll potential. It might have some consistency issues, but it's. I feel like losing to this card is gonna feel really bad. My a friend of mine messaged me as it came out, like pretty much the exact same second, and was like, "If I ever die to like an on-curve top deck Renekton from the Xenotype, I'm quitting Legends of Runeterra."
I immediately erasing my, which quitting the game, uninstalling app, and then I'm magneting my hard drive.
Yeah.
Never again.
A 4-cost 7/7 Overwhelm would feel really bad.
I mean, I just love that card is so good. And I just can't wait to use it. And obviously, it kind of alluded to the fact that we might see this certain time mage at some point, because obviously he is actually in the artwork for 2 of the
Yeah.
cards. So
the next day, naturally, we got Talia.
Of course, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Which I'm very happy about, because Talia's lovely. Talia is like one of my favorite characters in the game. She's just like really wholesome, and her voice lines are great. And her card's so sick. It's so sick. I will say as each spoiler, except maybe NASA's, each spoiler has got progressively more hype. Like around about the Talia point, I was wetting the bed. Like I am very excited for this card in particular. The ability to this play effect doesn't go on the stack, which is fucking borked. So that's so dumb. When you play Talia, you make an exact copy of an allied landmark, and that does not go on the stack.
Yep.
Insane.
And the comedy of the fact that obviously that just works with the hourglass just to make more things come out. The fact that you could also use that card, which was quite underwhelming on the day where it came out, that promising future. Because like people were like, well, how are you going to use this? Obviously, we need to work out. But the fact that you can promising future on top of the what the hourglass makes, and then she can make another copy of it. Therefore, meaning that you're going to be getting 4 copies of whatever the hell was inside the hourglass.
Yeah. Or even just like some low roll situations where you copy like Preservation or Preservarium or whatever it's called, the one that countdowns draws a card. Like, does that say summon when I'm summoned draw a card? Yeah, when I'm summoned draw a card. That like that gives Talia like double cycling. That's nuts.
And the comedy of the fact that obviously I love her spell in terms of the fact that it is just look at 3 random landmarks that you can afford, pick one and create it in hand. Just the idea of the fact you can just go to any region now and just be like, yep, there we go. I think I'll be using that Howling Abyss. Yes, thank you.
It's really funny, but I do think it's like excessively terrible. Because think about it, aren't most landmarks really shit?
I mean, if you've not built a deck around them,
yeah,
potentially,
it's like
but
finding Targon's Peak, just
the idea, though.
Yeah, no, I love the idea of randomly plucking. Like, I love the card, and I very much like that it is her signature spell, because it means that even you don't have to main deck this card to sometimes draw it and sometimes get Howling Abyss, and it just leads to those stories, you know?
Yeah.
I like cards with a healthy random element that lead to cool stories.
Yeah, definitely.
I was playing a Talia deck. I wasn't even running Stone Weaving, but I double drew Talia, discovered Howling Abyss, pulled Aurelian Soul, and won the tournament. Like, it's like my ex-girlfriend called me and was like, "I miss you." Anyway,
but yeah, no, literally, Talia, she is like really nice. I know that she got a bit of a backlash when she first came out, but Riot have already said they're going to be changing the voice actress, and I believe changing the art as well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they got a bit of a
I heard about that backlash, but I didn't think they'd actually do anything about it. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no, they came out very quickly, actually, like Riot did on Twitter, and said that they were going to be changing it, because obviously, at the end of the day, they know that like they want to be making sure that the player base is happy and fun and having good times, and if they think that this has really upset them, then they want to make sure they're putting it right.
That's not Riot's actually just the most wholesome company. Like, the Riot's player base is like, oh, we miss the old actor, and Riot's like, don't worry, we'll get the old actor for you. Nintendo is like banning tournaments of their own games that don't give them money. Like, it's
you're not giving us money. You can't do that. Good day, sir. You fuck Mario. I don't want you using Mario. We own Mario.
Yeah, people were trying, like, Melee, like, Super Smash Bros. Melee, people were trying to play, like, Super Smash Bros. Melee tournaments, but because that game is, like, ancient, Nintendo weren't making money off of it, so something happened. I'm not super informed on that, but like Riot is actually just really kind to their player base. It's really like wholesome.
It wouldn't surprise me because Nintendo had like big problems to begin with, like on the whole YouTube scene. Like I seem to remember like ages ago that Nintendo was one of like the big companies that if you did gameplay on their games and like we're trying to like monetize, like, obviously through like ad revenue and whatnot, they were like, no, that belongs to us because we made it the game. And it's like, I know, but I'm making the original content, like, by use. But no, but you understand, it belongs to us. Nintendo have been like that for a little while, though. To be fair, like that's just been like their whole ethos.
Meanwhile, Riot Games, the Riot Games YouTube is, or like any Riot property has got a fanatical fan base of like content being made for. Anyway, enough enough of that.
Enough of that bollocks.
On the subject of Talia, so a lot of people will try. We'll talk about Lysandra in a second. A lot of people will try and force Talia Lysandra, or not even force. I think it will actually be quite a good deck. But one thing I want to point out, which I think is quite funny, is Talia's ability is not Yume, which makes sense. There's not a lot of Yume abilities in this game. That's more of a Magic the Gathering thing. So if the only landmark you have in play is Blighted Ravine, you can't play Talia because she'll kill herself.
I mean, that is true. You're not wrong with that.
Which I find very funny.
Which I just can't wait to be crafting with her. The fact that we've not actually seen what's going to happen if we play multiple copies of Talia, which obviously you can be done by doing the hourglass and the copy and the aforementioned copying. In terms of the spell stack when she goes forward, because when she goes forward, that her attack of her leveled up version do damage that, and that happens again and do it like 2 more times. Like she can fill up the spell stack very quickly.
Yes, we've seen something similar to this before with
Riptide Rex.
Riptide Rex, yeah. If you get all 3 Talias with the combo shown in the trailer, and they block, and you have a landmark in play, so and it fills up the stack, your opponent can't respond. They just have to block and then press OK.
Yeah, because that's what I want to see is whether or not they're going to do anything about that, or whether that's going to be just that's how that goes now.
I love that. I love the idea of building up this like Exodia style board which completely removes counterplay. Oh. I know people are like, wow, counterplay is important, but like also winning the game should be like a thing that exists.
So speaking of Exodia, the next day something happened that no one expected.
No, the Watcher! No one's been able to summon him! Watcher! Right!
I mean, devastating, right? Like, Lysandra, like, the whole way through that trailer, I was like, my God!
I was actually, like, looking on your Twitter the next day to see, like, an edit of that scene from Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I was just expecting it!
I mean, it is very stupidly crazy. I have actually got a meme that I've already made for this.
Yeah.
It's not actually that one. You will see what it is, and I kind of used it before, but I've edited it to make it more relevant to this. But yeah, it was just too funny. I think that to talk about Lysandra, I've got to mention the fact that she makes the Nexus tough, and that is like when she levels up, and that is ridiculous. Do you know why that's ridiculous?
Teemo.
Well, number one, Teemo, because they've already said that it completely negates mushrooms.
Yeah.
Like, it will do no mushroom damage. But let's look past that. Let's look even further. Shall we go deeper?
I would love to go deeper.
Misfortune's level up does nothing.
Oh, yes.
Level up does nothing.
Ballistic Bot does nothing.
Ballistic Bot does that. Riptide Rex does nothing when he hits the core. Leviathan does nothing. Like Leviathan's damage to the core is meaningless. Warding Shot is meaningless. And it's just so many things.
That is something that has been confirmed. I've been told anyway that if you Warding Shot and it does no damage, it still triggers Plunder. So you can play Riptide Rex to do nothing.
That's what to trigger. That's what your Nexus is not taking damage. They might still trigger a Plunder, but for what? Like, what does it mean? Because let's face it, it then means that your Powder Monkeys, they do nothing. I mean, obviously you have to block them on the field, but after that point, like that their Death Rattle or their.
Do you have to block them on the field? They ping you for 1 total.
No,
Like,
which
yeah, if you don't block them, their 2 goes to 1, and then their 1 goes to 0.
oh, that's
Nuts.
true. I mean, that's true. You know, you don't even have to block them. I mean, it was like, at what point does it's so crazy, and the fact that her spell basically is do 1 damage everywhere, which means that your Nexus no longer takes that damage, but obviously your opponent's Nexus still does. The fact you can play Ember Maiden, and Ember Maiden is just like, because one of the main problems with Ember Maiden is was that she was taking down your own Nexus with your opponent. So if your opponent had certain spells that were like, really powerful attacks that they could throw directly in your Nexus, they could get in front of you, and it wouldn't be your own, Maiden would be bringing you to death, but that doesn't matter anymore. It's just so amazing. I love it.
Yeah. Also, the Ice Shard animation, like not her signature, sorry, her signature is in Tomb. That animation as well. All of these cards around the Lysandra release have really sick animations.
Oh yeah, yep. And obviously, yep, the big boy Watcher, just the fact that he can be played and then just immediately, upon attacking, obliterates the enemy deck. I mean, I think that the only person who cried or only champion who cried unbelievably upon this release was Malachi.
Yeah.
Because, let's face it, that was his thing! And you know what? Good guy Malachi at least gave you 4 cards to be able to whittle away to your death.
Well, one thing I absolutely love about both the Watcher and Maokai is, or less so Maokai, but both of them obliterate your opponent's deck at a time where usually you're so up head on board that it doesn't matter.
True.
Like, how many games of Deep have you played and your opponent obliterates your deck when you've already decided that you've lost the game? And it's just like, it's that final thing that makes you decide to surrender, even though you knew you'd probably lost like 3 turns earlier.
True.
And the Watcher is like an 11-17 in a board most likely filled with 8/8s. Like,
yeah, it is pretty damn insane. I mean,
kind of
obviously, people have already been talking about counterplays in terms of possession rally or possession, then killing it and bringing it back with heroin. Or
I've seen people talking about like ways to turbo out the Watcher or like get it out as quickly as possible, like on turn 8.
Spectral Matron, and things. There's so many different things that people have been planning with this that I just can't wait to see how it's all gonna go down.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts that you can like easy mode on like get Watcher out on your 8th mana crystal, especially because Freljord is the ramp color. Like it's not likely, but it's not unlikely either that you will be on 5 mana without a deck. And you're staring down a board of like huge ass dudes, yeah.
And that is the magic. That is the magic that is being given to us right now. I don't know, like my whole thing was that I do like the idea of the possession plan to take it away. It's like, you thought you were doing this to me. No, it happens to you. But another part of me, as being a P&Z man, also, because basically what the thing is that when she levels up, she gives you that Watcher in hand. But once so you only got 1 shot basically, unless you make copies of the Watcher, or like I said, like through Spectral Matron, make copies. You only got 1 shot. So just the ability of just like they throw their Watcher out, and then I throw my Jerry rig out and just use Hex Core Transmogrify just to turn that Watcher into a 1/1 Jerry.
I still don't have a deck though.
I know, in my head that'd be so funny.
I'm like imagining situations where you're playing Go Get It and you just like chump the Watcher, and because you have no cards left in library, you fill your deck with Go Get It. But like, I don't know how like rational that is. It's just like, it makes me smile.
Yeah. And also the idea of they get Watcher in hand, and then you just trigger the plunder mechanic, and then use the sleight of hand, and the chance, a hope, a chance of getting the Watcher. Not that you'd be able to play it, because obviously it'd be a 70, but it's the fact that my deck is safe.
Yeah, it's Lysandra is probably the strongest champion we've seen so far, I think. But I'm pretty bad at evaluating cards in a vacuum.
Well, out of what I mean, yeah, obviously it's going to be really hard because let's face it, like everyone thought that Zoe was not going to be good until she joined the game. It's really hard to say who's going to be good and who's going to be not because without seeing them actually in the game and seeing the moves and counter plays that get done with different things, it's honestly hard to evaluate any set before it actually comes out. Let alone before we've actually seen the entire set to be able to say, oh, well, that's going to work with that, that works with that, that works with that type thing. So
it's just like her stat line's such a pain in the ass. Like, a lot of decks just kind of stop dead to a 2-3 on turn 3. Like, that's just, like, really annoying. Like, tough.
Yeah, with tough. And, I don't know, she's going to be a really powerful champion to have to deal with. Not only that, I think it's worthwhile noting that Entomb, which is her spell, doesn't just have to be used on the opponent's side of the field to lock out one of their champions. It can actually be used on your side of the field, so that can be used as a move to protect you from, say, a ruination or from like just anything that would try to kill her yet again. It is more mana than obviously the 2-mana hourglass, but it's still an option within a different region to do the same thing to basically protect a champion or protect another ally.
I absolutely love that, by the way, because it's super good flavor. Entomb is one of Lysandre's abilities in League of Legends, which you ideally want to be using on one of your opponents. It keeps them still for like 3 odd seconds, but you can use it on yourself, and you can't take damage while you're in your tomb. So it's like
the Mei thing from Overwatch.
What does Mei do? Oh yeah, no, exactly that. But you can use it on your opponent's stuff. Yeah, and you want to use it on your opponent's stuff.
So it's just this whole set has been beautiful. I mean, obviously, and then our last champion that we have to get to is the one that's been the most recent for us up until this point of recording, which, as we said, is the big doggo man, is Nasus.
Yeah, relationship with Messenger is now over. Nasus is the new dog.
Yes, he is. And just that the fact that we've got the new keyword slain, which is just so it is endure on steroids in terms of like what that like basically like. It's amazing because it's both sides of the field. Shadow Isles loves this kind of stuff, so
it's not even when I'm summoned. It's like, or at least on Nasus anyway. It updates whenever you kill something, which is fucking insane.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. He is endure, but only he gets more stats than endure.
Yeah, he's endure, but he costs less, and he levels up easier. He is a champion. So there's all kinds of perks that come along with that. It's way easier to tutor a champion than a follower. You aren't locked into Freljord, which is huge because people were pretty much only running Freljord for that one card. The deck was entirely Shadow Isles beyond that.
Yep.
It's so nuts. It's so freaking nuts.
It's so much synergy between those two. I would be remiss if I didn't say there is part of me that the comedy of running Nasus's strike, his siphoning strike, in a Freljord deck for the purposes of running Howling Abyss. So that because it does say that grant allied champions everywhere +2/+2. So it's gonna be a very stupid deck. But
I can't remember where I read this, but it just made me chuckle. It was like, on day 1, I'm going to be playing Siphoning Strike Demacia so that I can force Lucian to Siphoning Strike Senna. It's just kind of evil.
Yeah. I mean, there was that whole thing about people saying, like, in, what was it, the labs that we had when people played Lucian, like, basically, the whole thing about playing her was just, like, or playing him was just basically so that you could get Senna out, then let her die so that you could then, because you had the ability to, like, get, like, proc the ability to get, like, loads of Lucians on the board with certain builds, or, like, that, and it's just, like, there was this whole thing where people were saying, like, like what makes you think like why you play Lucian and things you like, and then just one of it just being at the very bottom, just because you love hearing him screaming it out as he like every time when he sees Senna die, you just love hearing the sound.
It's like you know that one like Rick and Morty meme, the "What is my purpose?"
Yeah,
you die to Lucian. Oh God.
Yeah.
But
obviously, like, and we got to see what I think, like, obviously the artwork that we got to see for one of the cards, the Fearsome card, which when it's slain 13+ units, basically kills all enemy followers and then summons a copy of itself. That was the artwork that we saw very early on when they first announced that Shurima
Yeah,
was going to be joining the game. So, and it's just it's a very nice card as well.
yeah. If you have slain 13 units, how hard do we think that is? Like, can you play this on turn 8?
I think you can. In
I
Shadow
think you
Isles,
can. Yeah.
in Shadow Isles, you definitely can.
God, that's nuts.
And like, and also in my original reveal video, obviously I didn't read it properly, but Spirit Fire, what a great removal spell! Like in terms of the fact that
Holy balls, yeah.
I did not actually, because I read it completely wrong when I first read this. I read it as being like a give enemies minus 2 sides, all enemies, and round end deal 2 damage to me. So I read that as being you have to do 2 damage to one of your own units to be able to give all enemies -2. No, it turns out you just give all enemies -2, but also add to them the fact that when the round ends, it's basically like an avalanche where they are all going to take 2 damage, as well as the fact that they have got -2 to their attack stat this turn.
Yeah, I was in a Discord call with some friends when I was reading these spoilers, and they were like, "Dude, why are you making monkey noises?" And like, it was because I was reading Spirit Fire. I was just there like,
It's an amazing card. That ability for not only making them lose attack, but also then giving it so they're going to be taking 2 at the end of the turn. I will also say that I loved the fact that there's a 0 mana Rite of Calling, which is that destroy an ally or destroy one of your mana gems to be able to draw a champion. It is on treat, but in a different region. And the fact that this works so well with Nasus in terms of the fact, because it's like in Endure decks, one of its main problems is if you don't draw Endure, right? You get all these little things and that, but you might not draw the Endure in time, and your opponent just destroys you. But in this is another way of making sure, I'm definitely getting him. I'm getting my champ out. Like, I'm getting who's getting all the big buffs. I'm getting them out.
Yeah, that is a good point, by the way. Established cards that already exist in Legends of Runeterra, some of them have just been mega buffed by proxy. Like, Scorched Earth is suddenly so much better. Atrocity has another best friend in Nasus now. Like, I am not comfortable with these cards that were already extremely powerful getting, like, buffed by proxy. And these strategies that we've already seen for seasons getting even more support.
Yeah.
But that's like a minor thing.
But let's face it, with all the other cards that are getting involved, I think you need to have those options still available to you, because otherwise stuff is like, I don't know, it's one of those things, but I feel like, sometimes you do need to still support those kind of things and whatnot. But obviously, we've not seen all the cards yet. We don't know what's yet to be revealed. So who the hell knows, right?
True, it's a buried sun disc, dude. It says countdown 25. If they use landmark removal on that when I'm on like 1 tick left, I'm uninstalling the game.
Yep, exactly. I mean, that's the thing of it, isn't it? Is the fact that it's such a good payoff, but it's gonna take you time to get there. That's it. That's its one thing. I mean, obviously, if you were to play at least 2 Ascended Champions on the board and then play your Sun Disc and use Ascended Rise so that you immediately get those 2 champions up, so that they basically advances the countdown by 20.
Yeah.
Like, there is certain ways where you don't need to play that at the beginning, and that's why people like at the very beginning when we first got those first sets, or people have said, well, the only way to play it is in Mono Shurima. It's like, you don't just have to play that card in Mono Shurima. It's just like, just because Mono Shurima allows you to get it from the very start, all it takes is 1 landmark removal, and that one you've had from the very start is quite meaningless in my opinion. So it doesn't have to just be Mono Shurima. Obviously, you get that little bit of a benefit of being able to have it right from the beginning with it, but it's not a necessity for that card.
And so yeah, that's all the champions to date, or for the moment. What like individual cards are you particularly excited about, like more so than the rest?
In terms of individual cards, like in terms of non-champion cards, because obviously I'm hyped for all of them. I think we've already touched on the Hourglass. I'm loving the idea of Quicksand, because it is like it's kind of hush, but not hush. It's actually a far better hush. Like, and what I mean by that is it's a nicer hush for your opponent in that
Mhm.
it removes what you like keywords, but it doesn't disable the rest of that text. Therefore, meaning that like basically things like Ezreal, he's gonna get rid of his elusive, but he's still gonna have those words, which means if he's leveled up, he's still gonna be doing damage in if spells are done. It's gonna be one of those things where if you're running Zed, yep, he's gonna lose quick attack, but if you don't kill him and he managed to strike him, which is very unlikely with the -4, he would still level. I mean, it's one of those things, but it's nice because it's only the keywords. It doesn't stop card text. And I actually
Yeah.
like that. I think it's a very smart way of doing it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm just adjacent to Quicksand. I'm looking at this exhaust card. What do you think about focus being keyworded?
It actually makes a lot of sense. Let's face it. It was we're seeing more and more of these spells which can be played um out of combat and which are still burst speed out of combat kind of spells, and it makes sense to give them their own like thing because otherwise, literally on every single card that has that, you've got to add the card text of cannot be played in which are in combat or as a, which as a thing to a spell as a so I can 100% understand why, because let's face it, that now means that you just add that onto gems, you add that onto all the reforge things, and it just makes it so you can remove that card text just have it as being that's what this is. The one card that I have laughed at saying I wonder whether or not they're gonna remember to change this card, because let's face it, it doesn't get used that much, is Lulu's leveled up spell. Because technically, that is the same in that it cannot be used in combat or things, but it's like, will they remember to change that to a focus speed rather than because it's just like it just doesn't get used. Let's face it, Lulu has not been used, it's not been seen in years.
I forgot that card existed. Yeah,
Exactly. That's what I mean. That's why that's gonna obviously be my curiosity is whether or not we see that card actually. But they have done a magnificent job on this whole set so far, and we haven't even seen all of it. So it's so hype. It's so
yeah,
hype.
yeah. I think I'm just looking through and I'm trying to think like what cards I'm most excited about. Spirit Fire is definitely one of them.
Mm,
Spirit Fire is absolutely insane.
mm.
Um, the 2 cost that drains 2 from the enemy nexus and cycles is quite interesting. I don't know if that's going to be good, but I like that it exists. Oh boy, there's a couple of cards which have disappointed me a little bit, like Weight of Judgment and also whatever the other one was called, Unworthy. The 2 Shurima removal spells are both just a little bit too bad to be played, but they are really cool designs.
Oh yeah, definitely really cool designs. Yeah.
I really like Unworthy. I really like Unworthy. I think it would have been better if they like. The problem is that if you're on turn 10, Unworthy from turn 10 onwards, Unworthy is bad
Mm.
because like you can never really have fewer mana gems than your opponent unless you use it in the same turn as another one of these like destroy your own mana gems things.
Yeah.
Eh,
So yeah, no,
it's
I get what you mean.
it's neat though. I really like the card design.
Mm. And it's nice to see that there's that they've kind of added that feature in whereby obviously we've seen ramp, but this is literally counter ramp. This is I'm taking a hit to my gems because I'm getting something out of it that I want to do. Obviously, once you get to turn 10, those cards don't really matter because literally you just go down to 9 and at the start of the next turn you go back up to 10 again anyway.
Yeah,
So but it's one of those things. It's just it's a nice little thing that they've added into the game as being I think it's obviously because we have ramp, and so it's nice to see a little bit of counter ramp, but for
yeah.
for reasons.
I want to see. I know these cards like ubiquitously suck, but you'll know the cards from like Hearthstone that that are just stat out the ass, and when they enter, they destroy one of your own mana gems.
Yeah,
I want more of that in I want some of that in LOR, like just huge beefy dudes that like when they enter ruin your chances of winning the game.
yeah, because obviously that was what Warlock used to do a lot of,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah,
It was really good. Let's face it, Warlock was a lot of fun in
yeah.
in Hearthstone. So it'd be nice to see things along that line. But yeah, no, literally, I think the whole dev team deserves like a pat on the back. Like they've done amazing job with this set so far, and I honestly can't wait to get my hands on it and play it. I'm so hyped.
I'm so hyped. Uh, but is there any other cards you want to speak about, or are we wrapping up?
I mean, I think I've got through what I've got through what I was going to say. But if there's if there's any other cards that you want to talk through, I can talk through them.
A lot of these cards are very vanilla. I think we'll backtrack a little bit and talk about some of these more vanilla cards when we've seen the entire set.
Yes.
But I think like a quick summary of what's been going down over the past the start of spoiler season was in order.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely, because otherwise we're going to have a lot to cover if we covered all of it. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
good
yeah.
but I hope that people enjoyed listening.
Consider this a part one.
Exactly. I hope that people enjoyed listening to our maddening thoughts and whatnot. But honestly, it's just these sets. Oh, and also, I guess we should touch on the one cost Bloodthirsty Bloodthirsty Marauder, and just the fact that the Noxian one cost is crying. The fact that he can't block, and it's got the same stats.
Well, there's another one in Shurima, isn't there? That's like got the same stats, but is just like better. Esteemed Hierophant, the 3/4 with when I'm summoned advanced your buried sun disc, has the same stats as Badger Bear.
Yeah, true.
Sucks to suck, Badger Bear. Oh well. But no, I don't think the one cost 3/1 is actually going to be particularly strong. I don't think.
Oh no. It's just funny to have.
Yeah, it's funny that that. What is it? Legion Rearguard? Is that what it was called?
I believe so. Yes.
Has been nerfed so far into the ground. Like that's one of the least playable cards in the game right now. I would hesitate to say,
including Lulu. But
including Lulu, yeah.
But yeah, no, I said I can't wait to get my hands on this set. And so obviously, once we get to the end of reveal season, we will do another podcast going through all of the things because it's just yes. So much yes.
Yeah. So, we will see you in how long is review season meant to last? We'll see you in like 2 weeks.
Right? I mean, I was gonna say that literally it finishes next week, doesn't it? Like that's because the card.
We'll see you in 1 week.
I was gonna say because the cards come out on the 3rd, so we've got like less than a week now. That's the Wednesday the 1st. So
Wait, the cards come out on the 3rd? Holy.
Yeah, the cards come out on the 3rd. So we've literally we've actually got until probably I'm guessing that the last reveal is going to be on the Tuesday because obviously that's when they do the patch notes, and then obviously the patch goes live on the 3rd. So I'm assuming we're going to get all the cards and the last one is going to be on the Tuesday. It's going to be my guess, but it's good times.
Fair enough. We'll try and get part 2 recorded next week, and we will see you guys later.
Indeed. Remember all of the social stuff in terms of the fact, you can catch both of us stream and whatnot. And whereabouts is this podcast? Just I know it's YouTube and SoundCloud. Have we sorted Spotify out?
I'll talk to you about that after the episode.
Okay, no worries. We'll talk about that after the episode. Because we're in a number of different places, and obviously you can catch us on Twitch or on our YouTubes and whatnot. So all the social stuff will be down below. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you had a good time. Until next time. Bye. See, bye.
Bye-bye.